What's up, guys? It's episode 6 and I'm excited for this. Now, I want to get talking about some other topics and getting into some other topics other than career mode as well, but it is still FIFA related and football related, and that is that the World Cup, I'm just going to confirm for you guys, which I'm sure most of you actually already know this anyway, is coming out on Tuesday the 29th of May, which I'm going to be playing games. I'm going to download it and then I'm going to play some games on Tuesday and upload them. So you guys are going to get that. And don't worry, you're still going to be getting the career mode Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I will do the World Cup Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. And then I'll probably change things around as the World Cup fades out and things like that. Maybe go back to career mode, maybe play other game modes depending on what you guys want. You can see the games that we've got to play today. And I'm excited to play these games, and Brighton are not the easiest side. They're one of those sides that I don't want to think they're just going to be easy and just win straight away. So we can't take any games for granted, but in terms of top teams, we've got Brighton and then Watford today. So Brighton, I would think, are going to be the easier of the two teams, and Watford are definitely near the top. So they've definitely got something. I don't know what that is yet, but they're definitely trying to prove something. Krul makes an incredible save, and then we just head that back across goal for Aubameyang, 1-0 already. And I think in the opening start to this game, I think Tim Krul made about 4 saves, and 3 of them was like really good saves. So he's always been a great goalkeeper. I remember when he was at Newcastle and they was doing a lot better before they got relegated and then promoted again. So maybe like 4 years ago, and they was on form. They was definitely. I believe, actually, guys, let me know. Did Newcastle ever get into the Champions League? Because I don't know this. I think what happened, and hear me out here, I think they got 4th space and then somebody else won the Europa League and kicked them out of it. I'm not sure if that's true, but I have a feeling they got 1 year, they got 4th, or maybe they didn't, maybe they got 5th. And again, another penalty missed. We just can't seem to score any penalties for some reason. And then the rebounder couldn't score that either, but not to worry, we're going to bag that one. And I love those types of goals where you get a player like Mahrez, you know he can finesse the ball and then just lift it into the corner. And I just love that real life style of play, real goals. I just think so many players you play against on Ultimate Team are so boring. They'll do whatever it takes to win, opposed to enjoying themselves and trying to score great goals as well as trying to win. And they just run through, and every shot is the same. Blast it as hard as I can. Blast it, and they never use anything else. That was kind of a bit of a cheap goal there. We passed it through. I don't know what the defence was doing. And poor Tim Krul. What this career mode's allowed me to do so far, I think the biggest thing I'm taking out of this in terms of like a FIFA standpoint is reconnecting with players that I didn't originally like. For example, when I play Ultimate Team, I don't really play it anymore. It's something I'm getting back into, but I haven't played Ultimate Team for like maybe 6-7 months. But when I get back into playing Ultimate Team, I always used to love David Silva. He was always my number 1 guy to put behind the striker, and I never liked Ozil. I could never get used to him. I always thought he just didn't have good shooting to me. He just wasn't the player that I thought was worthy of being in a squad. And the same with Lacazette, the same with a lot of these players that with this career mode, it's kind of reconnecting me with a lot of those players and realising that if you use them in a certain way, they can be great players. You can see it's 4-0 at half time, and we're just kind of peppering the goal, and Brighton got to a point where I think they're just given up. I think they kind of knew it was over, and bring Koscielny on just for stamina reasons. And we just keep pushing forward, trying to score more and more and more. And it was one of those games where it really could have just been 8-0 maybe. And then they come forward there. I'm not really sure what I was doing defensively, to be honest. They came forward in the 74th minute, and we'll see the replay of that. But I kind of just moved out the way. I don't know if it wouldn't let me go on to the player I wanted to go on to, or what the situation was there. So let's talk a little bit more World Cup, guys. And I think you guys must think I'm crazy or something, and you're right, I am crazy, but I want to talk a bit more about the World Cup, and I know I keep talking about it in episodes, but not just the World Cup mode, but the World Cup in general. I don't know who I think's going to win it. I don't know who I like for the World Cup. But I actually think one of the biggest mistakes teams make and big clubs make is they have a player who does really, really well in the World Cup, and so they go and sign that player. And I think that's a really big mistake. I mean, when you look at like Sissoko, who used to play for Newcastle, had an incredible World Cup with France, then Spurs brought him, never did anything. I know James Rodriguez had a really good World Cup and then never really did much, and I know he's getting back into his stride now, but things like that, I think it's a big thing that teams do, which is, it's a big deal, but they don't really seem to ever get the benefits. They never seem to reap the rewards of performing in a World Cup. I mean, it's different managers, it's different, everything's different in a World Cup. And as regards the game, I hope that the game is going to be like it was in 2014 for you guys that didn't or did play that. It was where you couldn't buy players, you had to win games and then buy the packs with the money, or I think you could purchase them with FIFA points as well. And I'm hoping that that's the way it is this year. I hope they don't change too much, because that was great. I know in I think it was the South Africa World Cup, which was 2010, I believe, they just put a disc game out, and that was a decent game as well. But it didn't have any Ultimate Team or anything on the 2010 version of it. One thing I do have is when I used to play Ultimate Team earlier this season, I mentioned earlier, I played Ultimate Team for maybe like 2 months and then I stopped playing it. I wasn't enjoying this year's Ultimate Team, or really any of the Ultimate Teams in the last few years. But what I do have is about 130k from when I played earlier this season. I actually should have sold the players when I stopped playing. I probably would have had like 400k, but I decided to sell them a few weeks ago. So I might use that money to open the packs with. I think you guys would probably enjoy that. Or maybe you can't this year, I don't know yet. You can see they take us out on the attack, and that's a clear yellow card. Possibly you could even say it was red. I was in the box. And maybe let's see if we can actually score a penalty this game, guys, because we have been messing up something crazy. And yes, we finally get the goal. And I've been doing those different. Don't worry, guys, if you are totally interested in just scoring penalties every time, I would say go high and as wide as you can. But for the enjoyment of these career mode episodes, I like the look of the goal when you kind of walk up and just roll it into one of the corners, but it definitely comes with its risks. So they're more fun, they look better, and that's what I'm about, more fun and entertainment. But they do definitely have a higher risk of being stopped or missing them. And I think Watford definitely played really well here. I know, I think it was last episode I looked and there was like third in the table or second. It was really high up, and I'm guessing they're still up there now. But they don't have too many shots, I don't think, in this game. But definitely in possession they was good, and in the midfield I think they was playing 5 in midfield, which you could definitely see there. It was more them shooting, me shooting. There wasn't really much play in the centre, because I was struggling with that a lot. I was just making some substitutes there for both stamina reasons and to perform better. Only 1-0 up. I think it's always good to bring some subs on when you're either winning easily or you're struggling to make that breakthrough of scoring either 1 goal or maybe it's to go 2 goals ahead. I always utilise subs as much as I can. And I know this calendar month we've not got as many games. I think there's a few international games in there because I'm the Portugal manager. And I did look for next month or the month after, I forget now, off camera I was looking after the last episode, and there is a month just jam-packed full of European games, other cup games, Premier League games, and I'm really kind of regretting not signing more players now, but it's going to be over, and then I think January is going to come around before we know it anyway. And you guys can let me know if you want me to sign a specific player or who you think I should sign and why, and please let me know, because I want this to be your career mode as well as mine. So tell me in the comments. If you want to ask me a question, guys, it's probably best to just comment in the section down below. I was going to read an email that I got, my second email that somebody sent me, I think it was yesterday, I was going to read that in this episode. It's getting a little later now, so I think I'll save it for another episode. At least one thing's for sure with this Watford game, and that is that I anticipated it being a little more difficult, and so I honestly think if I hadn't have anticipated that, I don't think we would be in the position we end up in. And you can see we come forward with Nelson, and then we just bag that right there with the weak foot, slipping it under the keeper. Lovely goal for 2-1, and it's getting late in the game, so they're definitely going to struggle to get a second. And I want you guys to let me know, do you enjoy it more when I kind of talk about other topics as well during the commentaries, or would you prefer me to just constantly talk about the game? I think my opinion on it is if I constantly keep talking about the game and only everything that's happening in the game, I think that could get a little boring. Whereas if you let me talk or want me to talk more about things that are happening in football and my opinions on things, I think that makes for a more fun episode, and maybe I can transition between both and do a little bit of both. That's kind of what I've been doing at the moment, is just doing a little bit of both. So that's going to conclude the second game. You can see the players that we're training right there, and I'm always training my kind of youngest players rather than my best players. I don't really do that. If you enjoyed this video, guys, I would really appreciate you giving me a like. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job. It lets me know you're enjoying it. Leave a comment of your choice, and I think that's going to be it, guys. So I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace out.